This week, we learned that Twitter has advised 330 million people to change their password because some passwords were stored in plain text in Twitter's internal log files. Normally, passwords are hashed for security. Hashing is a one-way transformation of the password to make it unusable by anyone who gains unauthorized access to the password data. In other words, your original password is not revealed and thus can't be used to access your account. Although there was no evidence of misuse in this case, the possibilities of a breach in such large numbers is still pretty sobering. And think about the collective amount of time spent changing all those passwords. Assuming it takes only a minute, that's still 5.5 million hours people will collectively spend changing their Twitter passwords. We all know that passwords are suboptimal. Even the guy who invented them, Fernando Corbato of MIT, has been quoted as saying they are a nightmare. It's a familiar story, and we've all been there, sitting at the keyboard wondering, what was my password again? And then the defeat and inconvenience of hitting that reset button and going through the reset steps. Or worse, getting locked out of your account altogether. All the while you're thinking, there must be a better way. Password managers and multi-factor authentication helps, but only to a point. Let's look at some password alternatives, starting with biometrics. It's a great idea and certainly very futuristic, but there are two challenges with biometrics. First, they require sophisticated hardware. Remember that the iPhone X's relatively basic facial recognition isn't cheap. Second, you only get one set of biometrics. Your fingerprints are your fingerprints, your retinas are your retinas, and other than surgery, you only get your original set. Once compromised, there's no equivalent of a password reset. Today, hackers are working on faking out biometric systems with images and other techniques. Imagine the consequences of getting hacked biometrically. So where do you go from here? One option is about harnessing data about your behaviors and creating algorithms that can learn to recognize you through what you do. This is all about analytics and machine intelligence that learns to understand how to uniquely recognize you. The challenge with this approach is how to protect individual privacy and information. If you think about it, how you behave is like a fingerprint, and you may not want anyone to have access to that information. That sends us right into the heart of the complexity of selectively providing access to who you are, what you do, and where you go. A hacked password can give someone access to your private information, but allowing your personal data to be collected to help secure your identity also has to have conditions, or it could easily backfire and be used for all kinds of malevolent purposes. So yes, there is life after passwords, but we're going to have to think through it carefully so that we make the right trade-offs.